Man came into the room and sat down on the bed. Tears were falling. She didn't want to run from Dad's house and live alone. But she accepted her fate. She was tired of her marriage. Her husband was so cool. He didn't even spell and divorcing that she was the ex of her sister. Vine didn't know that before his marriage, her parents forced her to marry him because he was stable money. He had so much money. Vine had so many bad thoughts about him because his behavior was so weird with her. Now she was sitting here while crying because he scolded her. Nobody ever felt her the way he did. One always felt complex in front of him. He was dashing and handsome, and one considered herself ugly. Well, as a husband, he fulfilled her every need. He cared for her, gave her everything, but the only thing Vine hated the most, he was the ex-boyfriend of her sister. Vine never wanted to marry someone who was someone, but that was her face. His actions sometimes showed that he only loved himself. He entered after 1 hour and saw her sleeping. He looked at the watch. He knew that she was angry at him. He walked towards her and stared at her face. She was in him. He crushed her cheeks and sat down beside her. She felt something on her face. He opened her eyes and scared to see him, but that was not the first time. He leaned towards her and hugged her, laying down. While this behavior confused her the most, she was still angry at him. So she decided to grow back the other side, but don't try to change your position. She rolled her eyes and closed them while he was so soft and she was up about while thinking this. The next day, what do you think of himself? I will not talk to him this time. I want to tell him that he can't control me. She was in her mind and was cursing while fixing her clothes, but suddenly she felt his presence behind him. Her breath went cold and she didn't want to look back and face him, but are you trying to ignore me? Then you don't want to talk to me. Are you mad at me? Skies was questioning her. No, he leaned towards her and don't try to do this. Okay, she nodded and then he gave her a and walked her. She had rest and how can he know my thoughts? She annoyingly fixing her clothes again. Now she was sitting here while thinking about her life. He was talking to his father. Today I will text Sunjo, but I don't want to. I don't want to what to do. It's not good to text him, but I just want to know about his illness as a friend. She was staring at the glass for minutes and he noticed he didn't say a word and just stared at her. She looked at him and might be just he looked down and started eating. After that, he and his father were concluding something. He got up and Vine was still sitting on the chair. He walked towards the car and while talking to his dad, then he looked at her and she wasn't there. She always never did that, never said goodbye. She was looking at him through the window and turned. She looked at the earrings. Those were his grandmother's diamond earrings. She touched them. They were beautiful. She never wore them because she heard that her sister loved them so much and wanted to wear them. Something happened and they left each other. One thought they belonged to her sister because they were beautiful as such. She just hated them and sat down while grabbing herself. When she tested Sonju, she was asking about his health as a friend. They were always friends. She didn't want to break her friendship with him, but he stopped talking to her after her marriage. She was waiting for his test and then he tested back. At night they came back and she was sitting on the bed while he was taking off his coat. Who is Sunjoy? He suddenly asked and she looked at him. He is my old friend. We studied together. He hummed. Actually, he and his sister were also studied together. Vine was younger than him. She was still sitting there while he was staring at her, but then he put his phone down on the table and laid down. He pulled her towards him and hugged her from back. That will always make her breathe heavier. She was feeling so good, but her eyes were half closed. She always wondered why he did this because she was his sister. Did he imagine her? His hands were roaming at that moment. She forgot everything, even her bed. So when she came to know that this is but she was so heartbroken, but now she didn't care. His sister was prettier than Vine, but she was classy and just like his idiot type, but Vine was the sister of Rion. The next day, Vine was looking at the girl who was talking to Janku. Why she looks at him with these eyes? Why is she talking to him like this? Why is she trying to be cute? Vine didn't know her expressions were telling just what she was thinking. She looked at her and tried to control her laugh. That girl felt uncomfortable because of her states. At night, she was sitting beside him, always thinking about she thought that he and that girl had something between us, so she wanted to check it. He was sleeping and she slowly grabbed his cell phone. Her heartbeat was so bad and she was so scared. She checked in and there was nothing. Then she said sorry to confirm more and then he talked to his sister or not. The next day he came out of the shower and she was using her cell phone. She looked at him and got up. She put his clothes in front of him, grabbed them and opened and was about to come out, but he was wearing he wore his clothes and she walked out immediately. He smiled because he was doing it just to see her reaction. Even they were living like husband and wife, but there was still the distance between them. He wanted to cut that distance because he couldn't see her with someone. He thought that he wanted to control, but he never. And those were his true feelings. He was cold, but that was his personality. At night, man was sitting on the couch, was smiling. He was doing his work. He looked at her and she was feeling just fine. Whom are you talking to? At this thought, she looked at him. I'm talking to my friends. I'm asking about his health. While smiling, come here and sit beside me. She nodded and sat down beside him and put her cell phone down. Now, why do you stop talking? Because you don't like, I will not talk to him again. He looked at her and she was sitting there angrily. You can talk because I will also talk to my girl. What who is she? She looked at her after seeing his face. I'm sleepy. She lay down. You can check my phone. I'm not checking his eyes. We didn't. Yeah, he never imagined this. He later beside her and hugged her, and no, he answered and she hugged him back. It was difficult to handle because he was very stubborn. She decided to stop talking to Sunjay. She thought that if he did the same, she would not like her. She was just asking about his that some friends were hard to forget, and he was one of them. 1 week later, she got an invitation from her family for dinner. She went there with him. Her sister was also there. She felt uncomfortable. They were sitting while he was talking to his friends. One was looking at Rigon because she was looking at him. One didn't like him. She never accepted her. She loved him. Her sister looked at her and smiled, but one didn't realize her. One didn't like her staring at him. One didn't know about their past relationship. She knew that they were in love. She just knew that they were in so much in love. One's mood got on because of her. She looked down. His hands were on her. She looked at him angrily and wanted to throw his hand away, but because she always thought that he didn't love her, just use her, put his frustration at her. Instead of throwing it away, she put his hand on it and started combining their fingers. He looked at her and she was in a worry. He let her do what she wanted to. They broke up, and after much Janku married Vine, he didn't know that Vine was her sister because his parents liked Vine for her. But when he came to know her, didn't break the marriage. Rion was his best friend, and also she pretended that she understood his feeling as a friend because his parents were forcing me to marry, but she was burning in jealousy and he got married to her. Now Rion looked under the table and saw their hands are hard, burned, but she couldn't do anything. Came back and I was back again. She never did her before. She was feeling so right. He turned and hugged her. He was more than that. He was. Then they fell on the bed. She didn't want to let him go. She didn't want to leave. She thought that if he had his faith, and she would accept it because she didn't want to leave him. And that was plate of if he left her for someone. The first love she was warming in her mind. I never forgot it. The next day she was sitting here while waiting for him, but some of his employees were talking and mine was getting annoyed. Look, he married her sister, but why does he see one? Does he want to see her? Why? Why did he marry her? She's not even beautiful. I suddenly once aware from dinner. She got up and threw the coffee on them. Idiots, how dare you to talk about me while working in my husband's company? You don't even apologize right now. They got up and started apologizing. One walked out of their angry. Bongo saw everything. He was his best friend. Janko had two best friends, Yon and Bongo. Bongo walked towards them and they told him everything. At home, I was clicking her pictures because he thought he bought her a necklace. She was so happy for suddenly someone knocked her. She got up and opened the door. She was starting print by her and she entered the room. I came up and everything. Something what is my actually important file. After seeing him, she entered the closet and he still likes that color. She sat and smiled. Marion walked towards the table and saw the earrings. Fine, did he give you them to Ivan? It was smelling and Sar was smelling as they were her favorites. Ivan gave her them. He said they look beautiful as they made just made for me. One said and sister stood in jealousy. One put them in the drawer, sat down while using her service. Sister loved her sister, but her past relationship with him hurt her. Your sister is so toxic. She threw the coffin and implies just because they compliment you. Your sister is jealous of you, thinks he still loves you. Yeah, I also think that believe that they have a distance between them. Well, she is a still a stubborn child who glad on small thing. He must not love her. That's why she does these things. Leon, why not you go back to him? She looked at him surprised and knowing you're surprised, but she still really, but now she loves him. But if he loves you, I hope because I miss him. I know he's mine, but it's hard for me to forget him. I regret my decision. I shouldn't have rejected him. He wasn't so in love. Sometimes I think I still love him because it's hard for me to be to see him with someone. I have told you not to him, but a good chance if he doesn't love you back. One sitting on the couch while he chanted and looked at her. She got up and was smiling, but he wasn't smiling. What happened? Did you throw the coffee in employees one? If it's true, then it's very childish. Like they were talking bad about me. She didn't front from me. Believe me, who told you this? They were disrespecting even knowing that I was sitting behind them. I know my act was childish and dirty, but I was so angry at them. I'm sorry. I will say sorry to them. Who totally nodded. Wong, your best friend, and he nodded, and at that time I wanted to punch his face, but she hugged him, and these days she started to get more attached to him. She never hugged him before like this. Well, she hated Bongo. He was so annoying. She knew that Bongo didn't like her as is why she decided to talk to him tomorrow. The next day, man came into his company and he was sitting in his office room. He was not there, so she was waiting for him. She came in to talk to with Bing. She was ready to say about it when she had it. She looked at him and he got up and stood in front of her. What do you want? Something? Yes. Why are you trying to break my marriage? I'm not trying to think that before I know you. You want to get back with Janko, but your husband also want and beautiful girls like you don't deserve to live in this marriage. I will slap your close your face if you try to flirt with me again. Don't try to break my marriage. Believe me, Vine is still a one. If you don't believe me, then check his coat's pocket, you will find out. I will not check his pocket. I trust him. His magnet took the photo out of his pocket and showed him on his picture. Look, they took this picture years ago. Her tears filled with tears, but she controlled them, and I still don't believe it. She walked out angrily, and he smoked while looking at her. He found her attractive, cute. She sat down on the chair while smiling. One came back and older, she just cried. All the bad thoughts were becoming too. She was started to believe that he used her. He didn't have any idea about it. He came back very happily, and when he added, he saw her sitting on the bed while crying. Man, what happened? She got up and was ready to press it. You are asking me what happened? Yes. She took a deep breath. Do you still love her? But no. He was surprised to hear this for the first time. Not life. You don't. Then why you take her picture every day with you? No, I don't. Why would I take a bitch with me? Okay, but now let me check your pocket. She checked him, took out it, and he was surprised. What is it? You just used me? Man, believe me, no, you are a lie. You just used me to let out your frustration of me. And if you love me so much, then why do you marry me to see her? Imagine it. When have you lost your mind? I don't love her. He tried to grab her hand, but she was stepping back down. Not to see you and leave you as anyone. Who said this? Tell me, everyone. Even the blood of your company. How dare they? Who don't? Why don't you tell me before? Because I know that you will do fake things. Just tell and leave me if you don't love me. Just don't do restless things. No, you are not going anywhere. He was hugging her daddy and was not ready to grab her. She grabbed her hugging me. She was he was trying to make her believe that he loved her and not her sister. The next day, Janku checked all the city furniture and started bungled that to just to meet Ryan. We really used as his mind was about to burst because of anger. He turned the button and threw it in the trash and he didn't want to go to his past and destroy his future. He shot Ryan and she was relaxed after saying that Bungo did this. Now Bungo was sitting in front of her. Who are you? Janku asked, what do you mean I'm your best friend? Okay, but who are you to interfere in my marital life? Who are you to make my feel like she's nothing? Who are you to lie? I'm your best friend and know that she don't love her. She's no one to humiliate anyone just because they said, hey, you look good with your ex. Now you are no longer Chacha. Got out of here and don't show me your face ever. You are doing this just because of daddy. Your daddy is my wife. Come out of your my expectations. She is not important for than you. Now get out. Go for your father's company. But he will not hurt me. Yes, you should think of it while doing this before. Now I was thinking something while watching the movie. She was happy, but he was still so stressed. His words were roaming in his mind. He believed that man would leave him just because of anger. He kissed her forehead and closed it. Then she was hugging, but she fell asleep. After 1 hour, Sunju texted Ryan and she got up. He was standing outside her bar. She came to meet her last time before leaving. She looked at him and smiled. Young opened her eyes and she was not there. And he got up and saw her standing there with Sunju's face. Well, he knew that Sunju proposed to her and he was looking at them. Okay, bye. If you need anything, then don't hesitate to ask. Okay, bye. Enjoy your married life. And smiled and Wagner out there and Sunju dropped off. She came back and saw him. I was saying goodbye. He's not going to they go to marry his girlfriend. He nodded and they again lay down. He was staring at this thing, but one was busy in catching and she was half asleep. He was smiling like after 6 months, she gave him a surprise, and they were so happy. Her sister asked for dresses. He totally loved her, and she decided to marry someone. Everything sorted out between them. He confessed that he gave the earrings to one because he thought that they made for her. Flashback: one was Chanku was walking with his friends, one was walking from the other side.